on with another episode of painting at the Not Just Sawdust workshop. Today we're going to do a satellite disc, and what we want to create is like wood. It should look like it's a wooden panel. And it's a lovely day out here with little birds singing and little creatures going through the garden. And it's a perfect day to make a nice painting. So what we'll do is we'll take black first, which is just water-based paint. And we'll take a little bit of water, and let's say we start at this side with a little blank. It should be here, I think. And let's say that this is just a board of pine. So let's make a little bit of pine here. We don't worry about the corner. We don't worry about how black or whatever it is. We're just painting a board. Now it already looks like a board, as long as we keep going up and down the right side. We do have a special thing, and let's see if we can make a little bit of pine. So let's do that again. You can't do anything wrong. No, we're going to do it again. It is because the whole board is bent a bit, so you got to have a feel of it. But like I said, with this you can always try it again. So let's take the little one. Don't push too hard. Let's see if we can. We take another brush, and we just are going to let this dry for a bit, but make sure we got everything covered. And you know what? I don't like it, but that's no problem, because we're gonna do it the old-fashioned way, and that is with these combs. Now, they used to belong to my uncle, and I don't know if they sell them still, but if you don't have these things, you can always use like a little thing from your glue or whatever. It makes nice stripes too. But I'm going to use, first of all, this white one, and this is flexible, so with this you actually get a wood grain. Make sure you have a cloth so you can clean it every time. Now I think that in the middle of that board there should be a little nut living there, and maybe, just maybe, one here. Now we're just going to leave it for now. It's not it needs a little bit to dry. So we're starting with the next board, and I'm not going to do it like really, because that next board is going to be a bit darker. And I think we're a bit out of the curve on this board, so maybe we can use the little pine fake handle, and I think you can still buy them in like paint shops. It's just to get that wood done. And this is going to be a bit wider board. Like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to make that board a bit more in the shape of, like, let's say beach, which quarter sawn has all these little stripes. So first we're going to make these little stripes like this. Like that. Don't worry about how they look, because we're going to smooth them out later. Now we want to make like another with a bigger brush, and let's see what the effect is. We're keeping that dark side. And we need a bit more. So we can scrape up as much as we want. And now this has dried a bit, so we are taking a wider one and we are going along that because of these nuts are like that, and then we're just going to tap them a bit, and later on it will look like a real knot when we're finished. So let's take the small comb again and do this one again, because this is another. You can use any shape you want. Now, isn't it lovely to sit outside in the sun with the olive tree and with blossom, with the fig tree that is already having figs on it and they're almost ready. It's really nice to be out working here. Just let's go on with whatever. Let's take another brush. The only downside of working in the sun is that the paint is drying pretty quickly, but that's okay. And we want this board to be a little bit less, so it should be more white. So we're putting a little bit more water on it so it gets. And you're always painting over the other boards. Don't worry about it. This can be much lighter. So let's take another size. It's like a medium size, and well, let's put it like this. It definitely looks lighter and less like another board. And of course we can make that a bit less. And if you don't have like a big brush, this comes from from underneath the door where you insulate the door. It's just a little brush. We can take that and make it less solid, less obvious. And we're going to do that on the other side too when it's dry. It's going to look like wood. Now let's hope that we can make another one. And oh yes, we're going to make this darker. There's a big old plank living here, which probably has been part of an old house or something. And it's a whiteboard. It's really a big, massive piece of wood. It's got to be darker here. And this board is hundreds of years old and already was like in a house, or and had his his duty for all these years, and then was cut out, and people wanted to put it on a fire, and somebody saved it and used it for this. So let's see what it does. Yes, I'm getting those stripes. And then we're going to make it less stand out again with our little brush. First we do that. Don't do too much on this one. Only there at the top we have a little bit of too many brush strokes that wouldn't fit in a but that looks okay. Maybe put a few marks up there. Yeah, that's okay. Oh, almost forgot to clean it. Now our little bird, which has a nest underneath the roof. He already had like 4 young ones this year, and a few days ago the eggs came out and he's got 5 other ones. We're really happy to have all these little creatures around at the lonely hill at Alkadel. So let's go on with our panel. And to make the contrast, we are trying to make this, of course, lighter again. Now, I'm not worried about these little holes there, because there's something going to be mounted on there. So we're going to do this really light and make this into a kind of like that. That's more than enough. And let's see if we can get this to look like something. Now, of course, we have that little piece over there which I didn't paint enough. So I'm going to put a little bit more here. Like that. And a little bit more there. And now it's time to go over this nut here. See if we can make it less outstanding, which is really good. That's great. That really looks like different kinds of wood. So I just, you can do it with a brush like this, just to fill up little gaps that we didn't touch. Now, let's go on with the second one. And to make a bit of contrast, we're going to make a big, chunky strike here. And I think I am deciding that this board comes out of another trunk, which was used by maybe a company or something, and has been all over the world, like on a ship. So we're going to make it a bit more darker, but we're also going to try to make it less grain wise. It's smoother, it's much, so maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it's mahogany or something, or some kind of wood from faraway country. And maybe even this was on Columbus's boat or whatever, so who knows. We make this pretty dark, and we let this one just dry out for a while, although I'm going to take a piece of the toothbrush and get it some smoothness in it. Now that looks like a nice, some kind of hardwood board. This looks softwood, that looks hardwood, yeah. So let's make the other board and then we come back to that one, because we're going to do something special with that one. So now let's make another kind of pine board over here. So let's do it very light. Put a little bit of water as such on it. Get our comb again, and let's put it sideways. That's fine. A little bit of stripes on the back. There's a knot, you see that? And there's one too. Wow, aren't they happy knots? There used to be a branch coming out of there. Isn't that a nice board? So, now let's do the last board before we go to that one. And of course you can always try again. You can put paint over it, or you can sand it down, or whatever you want. It's not a really difficult thing to do. If you used water-based paint, it's all gonna work out. Now we want a nice little board over here, and that's gonna be a bit darker. Yes, that's beautiful. There's something like a kind of zebra wood. Look, it's already wood if you just go over it with a brush and make sure you got the grain the right direction. Now maybe we should have a little bit of stripes in there with the small comb. And just put like very lightly, put a few stripes in there. Like that. You see they're getting quite nice. I don't like the R. It is too much. And maybe I can just get the excess off. And, well, actually I can, so I don't have to worry about it too much. And that's how we make letters on it. I'm going to put a few more on. And then we're going to let it dry and finish it. So, what do you think about that? There's letters on it and they look like they have been faded out. And so we're leaving it more or less like that. I'm taking the brush and I think I take my toothbrush, which is a bit softer. Now what I'm going to do later is put a little bit of sandpaper over it when it's completely dry. And then I'm going to give it a coat of transparent red or whatever color you want to be the wood. This is already a pretty nice color, so don't worry about the edge. You can do that later with a solid color or something. So that's it for this week. I hope you liked this episode of painting at the Not Just Sawdust workshop, and I would say do some woodworking. It's a nice way to spend your time. Do some recycling, it's a better way to spend your time, and well, do some painting, which is a really relaxing way to spend your time. I say to you from a lovely garden at Alquidao in the middle of nowhere in central Portugal, with the little birds singing and the little creatures crawling around, little mosquitoes biting me, but até logo.